Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good morning and happy Friday. Hope you guys are having a great start to your day. I'm sure most of you guys, just like I am, are feeling great this morning because it is Friday, last day of the work week. It's going to be very active with severe weather across the middle of the country, so that'll be the main topic of this video. But we're going to talk about everybody in the lower 48 as we always do in the morning videos, so that's what we're going to break down. There is the threat for tornadoes, large hail, but it's a tricky setup. All the dynamics are going to be there for a couple states, really, portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, especially. But will the storms fire off? That's a big question here. We're pretty confident that one area will see some storms today, but will another area, which is Oklahoma and really southern sections of Kansas, will storms pop off in this area? So that's what we're going to talk about. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if you guys got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it. It gives others an opportunity to do so too. So I hope you guys are feeling well this morning. And let's get rolling here. So Storm Prediction Center, enhanced region. Not much has changed from the video I made last night. This is stretching from just north of Oklahoma City all the way up into central portions of Nebraska. This orange area, that is an enhanced. That is level 3 out of 5. The area surrounding it in the yellow is what we call a slight risk, level 2 out of 5. So severe weather potentially expected in that region, also than the marginal risk surrounding the yellow risk here. So severe weather expected today, and really we look at the tornado threat. There is a 5% risk in the Oklahoma City area, Norman areas, and then Omaha, 5% risk of a tornado, Norfolk, Nebraska. But then you really look inside this yellow risk. That is a 10% risk of a tornado in 25 miles. And given point in this yellow area right here, basically where you have the enhanced risk. Now, basically in the entire yellow area, you have what we call hatch region. So that is also a 10% risk to see a stronger tornado, which is an EF2 or higher. So it goes to EF2 to EF5. So the chances there for strong tornadoes, not just tornadoes, but stronger tornadoes today. Wind threat has increased at 30% risk, where they're thinking maybe any convection that does get going could evolve into more of a linear setup, meaning straight line winds become an issue here. So a 30% risk now introduced in this outlook of damaging winds in 25 miles in the given point of that 30% risk area. So hail threat is going to be big. Anytime when you have supercell potential, it's always going to be a big story. And basically you have a hatch region for a large portion of the 15% risk to see hail. Sometimes this can get kind of confusing. So focus your eyes on the yellow risk. That is a 15% risk in general for hail. And then focus your eyes on the red risk area. That is a 30% chance to see hail. Now, the black outlined area, that's what we call a hatch region, with the dashes going in between it. So overlapping these other risk areas I just mentioned previously, you have a 10% risk inside these regions to see larger hail, which is 2-inch or diameter or larger. So the chances for large hail to very large hail is with the way they categorize it in the Storm Prediction Center today, with any supercells that do get forming here. So, definitely be weather aware in this area. Even if it's just hail and no tornado threat, hail can cause millions of dollars in damage. You guys know all too well about that in the southern and central plains. So we take a look at what's going on this morning. You have a couple areas of convection blowing up already this morning. Certain areas is much needed rain, especially the further west you get, area convection popping off in western areas of Nebraska, and then some convection going off in eastern areas of Nebraska and Kansas. And we'll take a look at radar scope right now and what we got going here. And it's the same radar loop we were looking at, the same radar we were looking at last night with the Grand Island, Nebraska radar. But you got more storms firing up, northwest of Kansas City. So between Kansas City and Grand Island, you have a cluster of storms right here. And some of them, well, they definitely are producing hail. I'm sure a lot of folks out here aren't quite up yet or just getting going, so no hail reports yet. But I can look at the pink and tell you, hey, that's probably some hail falling in these storms this morning. Then you have an area of rain in central to west central areas in Nebraska. So even hail being reported in some storms down here where we don't have a great radar view pulled up in areas just east of Wichita, Kansas. So it's already stormy this morning. So we'll continue to watch what happens. So as we're getting going, let's go on and back this up a little bit. We're a little bit too far ahead as we're going forward here in the morning hours, this lingering convection in Nebraska and then eastern areas of Nebraska will go into Missouri. You guys are getting rain every single day in Missouri, it seems like. But northern sections of Missouri, southern sections of Iowa, we'll see rain today, some showers and storms moving through the morning hours. They could pack a little bit of a punch. But then we watch this piece of energy right here associated with low pressure as a triple point is established. A lot of rain will fall in these areas of the country, South Dakota, North Dakota. This will not be snow this time. Just a lot of heavy rain will fall in these regions. You guys have seen ample amount of moisture already over the last 2 weeks, and you'll see more today, but this will fall in the form of rain. Once you get to Nebraska, you run the risk of severe weather. So watch out for these storms already in this region, but as we're getting going here through the afternoon hours, you watch for these little clusters of storms right into here. And in fact, let's just go on and get a little bit closer. We'll take a look at Nebraska first. I've been trying to limit the amount of panels I've been pulling up, so I've been kind of doing this more on the fly. So if it takes a while to get to each panels, I do apologize here. But we'll stop this around 4, 5, 6 p.m. Remember, always give about a 2 to 3 hour window because it's always hard to figure out exactly which hour these will form. This looks messy to me, but you have kinematics in place, which means that you basically have those favorable wind patterns aloft to really put a spin to any storms that do form in this area. Even though it does look messy, this is the area of the storm threat today here in southern sections of Nebraska and probably northern sections of Kansas, where we're pretty confident we're going to have some convection. Convection meaning storm development. Now, is it one giant supercell? Is it kind of a linear, kind of broken up line? Is it just more of a straight line of storms that kind of pivots through Nebraska and portions of northern Kansas? We're just not quite sure, but this looks like an intense line of storm working through eastern areas of Nebraska. And then you see they're kind of broken up down here as you're getting closer to nightfall. Down here, just south of Omaha, you watch for these storms. These could be the ones that produce tornadoes. In fact, let's go on and notch down to Kansas. I had trouble finding Kansas last night. Notch down to Kansas, and we'll back it up a couple hours. And notice the storm coverage gets a lot more isolated in this region. There's an enhanced threat of storms, of severe storms, all the way down into this region, all the way down into northern sections of Oklahoma. But you notice the short-range cams meaning short-range models, which is really what we start to look at when we start to get closer to a winter weather event or a severe weather event, still continue to not show convection storm development down here. And that is because of what we call a cap. It's an area of stable air aloft. I feel like I repeat myself, and if I do, I apologize for annoying anyone, but any new viewers, I have to kind of reiterate it. It's a cap. It's that layer of stable air aloft that really prevents updrafts and storms from basically taking advantage of all the dynamics in the atmosphere that it can take advantage of, like the CAPE levels, basically the storm juice in the atmosphere. Think of it as storm juice, CAPE, storm energy. There's plenty of it in this region, just east of what we call a dry line that's going to be developing in this region. But that area of stable air, and it's probably only, maybe 1,000, 2,000 feet in width, if you will. So it's not that large. It's not like you have a large area of stability in the atmosphere. Just relatively speaking, a very small section of stable air that prevents these updrafts from exploding through this area of air and really take advantage of all the other dynamics above that stable air to the north of it, or higher up to the north of it. You know what I mean? But so you have isolated storm covers down here in central, east central areas, and then northern sections of Oklahoma. But where any storms do form, where they do form, and let's look at 06Z. This keeps going. They could be extremely dangerous. Large hail and tornadoes. You're going to have plenty of energy. And as we're getting into the nightfall, we're starting to get probably closer to 10, 11 p.m. You're starting to see storm development now, but this is more so associated with the cold front. But I mean, look at this little notch right here overnight. So watch out far southeast corner, northeast corner of these states right into here in the northwest corner of Missouri. But these kind of forming right here, which the Storm Prediction Center mentions, is really associated with the cold front that will drag down. So, you start to get into Oklahoma, and let's go on and find Oklahoma here. These storms right here showing up are really associated with that cold front. They're not really going to have many dynamics mixed in. They're going to still have severe weather potential, but that's not the one thing that really is promoting the enhanced and slight risk all the way down to Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Really what they're worried about is, will any storm development get going late this afternoon, evening? And if we stop it around that time frame and kind of pivot back and forth, nothing does per the latest HRRR model. But once we get to about midday, it'll be a nowcast thing. You don't really focus too much on the models. You just kind of look at soundings. And if you read the Storm Prediction Center breakdown, they mention the fact that they think, regardless of what the short-range models say, that there's going to be storm development just east of the dry line. But you take a look at the dynamics in place. The surface heating is substantial. You're getting high temperatures closer to 100 degrees in these areas of Texas and Oklahoma, and even where you have a more moist environment east of the dry line, temperatures are still rising well into the 80s. So plenty of surface heating there. Plenty of surface heating meaning what the temperature is when you walk outside. And then you look at the dry line in place. This is, a substantial dry line all the way up to the triple point where a moist air kind of gets thrown on top of the low pressure, if you will. This dry line will set up, you got winds coming in generally out the south, and dew points spiking well into the 60s, all the way into southeast areas of Nebraska, the entire eastern half of Kansas, and central and eastern areas of Oklahoma. Severe weather is possible down into Texas, but it's even less possible for storm development to pop off than it is in Oklahoma, where it already is, kind of hard for anything to get going due to that cap. So we're still watching this region. This is where that dry line will set up. Convection will pop up east of this. And due to the fact that you have such moist levels, such high humidity, such high dew points, you have a lot of CAPE that will develop in this region in response to these higher dew points. CAPE levels this afternoon, listen, the energy is going to be there. You're going to feel it in the air in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and areas just north into Kansas. You're going to feel it, right? But just because you feel it doesn't mean anything really gets going. You're going to try to see you're going to have to watch the cumulus cloud field out here on satellite visibility here and see if anything really gets going. But CAPE levels reaching well above 2,500 joules per kilogram in this region. Think of all these numbers you're seeing here is basically the storm energy. The higher the number, the more energy you have in the atmosphere. So you watch this along the dry line. What kind of energy do you get going in this region? So you continue to just kind of watch for storm development in general. So getting going here and looking at the rest of the eastern U.S., we'll back off from the severe weather threats. Kind of not necessarily a now thing, but it's kind of just watching what develops this afternoon. It really is. So be careful. If you're in areas in Oklahoma City, points north into Kansas, all the way up in the southern sections of Nebraska. In general, just keep your eye on a radar. I've always been an advocate on downloading a reliable radar and knowing where you are geographically on a map. That's very important when it comes to severe weather. It really is. But really looking for the rest of the eastern U.S., the leftover moisture will kind of dwindle away and weaken, but still make its way into Illinois later this afternoon, this evening. So probably some showers, a lot of showers in Wisconsin, areas of Iowa. Sorry about my dog barking. Just barking at the other dogs like all other dogs do. But moisture kind of pivoting from north-southwest all the way to northeast right into this region of the Midwest right here. So some showers, a lot of showers in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois throughout the afternoon and evening hours of your Friday. But the rest of really the U.S., maybe some lingering snow showers for far northern areas in Maine where you guys saw a little bit of snow yesterday, which it's not super rare for this time of the year. I mean, Maine's pretty far on up there. Y'all stay pretty cold late into the year. But other than that, maybe some showers in areas of Kentucky, West Virginia, but not much going on. It's temperature-wise, it's a nice day. It's like more of a mid to late spring day. Temperatures rising into the 80s, more so 70s and 60s in the Ohio Valley, but it's starting to warm up gradually for you folks in the interior Northeast, 40s and 50s for highs, but still, it still is not that comfortable for this region. So we'll continue to see if you guys can warm up, and I really think y'all will next week. But here in the southeast, the deep south, 80s, southeast 80s and 70s for high temperatures. In the south central U.S., 80s and 90s, as you have some big-time surface heating in that region today. Out west, you have a disturbance that's bringing snow for areas in Montana, Wyoming, in the higher elevations, snow, lower elevations, rain. Some of it can be heavy. You guys can see a lot of rain today in areas of southeastern areas of Montana. And then another disturbance starts to enter the west coast. So you guys will see more rain this evening for areas of the valleys of Oregon and Washington State, and then just basically the eastern sections of those states. Hopefully we can get some rain in Northern California with this system. But it looks like a big system moving in overnight. A lot of rain could fall in this region. Temperatures cooler than the average where you got rain-cooled air. But you guys, it's about an average day out west temperature-wise. Not too bad. But that's all I got, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate the viewers who continue to view in regardless of whether it's not affecting your exact region. I appreciate the loyal viewership. I really do. It means a lot. Things have really slowed down, and I've actually tried to turn my attention to other things in my life. I was so tunnel visioned on my YouTube channel and weather that, it's been a nice break. But I certainly am ready for the excitement that weather does bring, and really sharing it with you guys as we get closer to hurricane season. So, obviously, when you have a passion, you long for it. So definitely looking forward to some more exciting times with you guys. So thank y'all for tuning in. God bless everybody, and y'all have an awesome Friday.